You're talking about certainly one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of all time.
Oh, down again. To avoid the to find the right time. Oh, and a beautiful combination. Well done for Morales.
Oh! He has a case. He could submit his resume and say, I want consideration as the best fighter who's ever lived.
I literally wanted to die in that ring. Because in my head I was thinking, if he punches me, maybe I won't wake up, you know?
Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao!
December 8, 2012, Las Vegas. The MGM Grand Garden Arena holds 16,000 people, but the sound they make when Manny Pacquiao's face meets the canvas is not raw. It is a gasp, the kind of collective human sound that happens when royalty breaks. Juan Manuel Marquez stands over him, 41 years old, 4 fights, 10 years, 1 punch. Pacquiao is face down, motionless. The referee waved both arms, it is over. And for the first time in his career, the man who claimed 8 weight divisions, who started selling donuts on Filipino street corners at 12 years old, who became a symbol for 70 million people, for the first time Manny Pacquiao looks like he might never get up. But here is what the highlight reels will never show you. The knockout is not the end of the story, read the middle, and what happened before the punch and what happened after it is the difference between a great fighter and a mortal one. This is the truth about Manny Pacquiao, the underdog story sport will never see again.
Manny Pacquiao over 2 decades and winning titles in 8 weight classes has faced the best of the best. Nobody's gonna ever do or come close to what Manny Pacquiao.
To understand what Pacquiao became, you have to understand where he started. General Santos City in 1990, the southern Philippines. Manny is 12 years old. He weighs 95 pounds. His family has no running water. His father has left. His mother sells banana in the market. Manny sleeps on flattened cardboard boxes behind the public market, using his arms as a pillow, listening to rats move through the garbage. He discovered boxing the way most poor kids discover it. At the only door that might open, a local trainer named Lito Mondejar sees him fight in backyard exhibition and says nothing. He just watches, then he tells Manny to come back tomorrow. Manny never stopped coming back. At 16, he walks into Manila gym weighing 106 pounds and knocked down 3 sparring partners in a row. The gym goes silent. Someone whispers, "Who is the kid?" That kid would leave Philippines for the first time in 2001. He would land in Los Angeles with no English, no manager, no guarantee that he would ever fight again. He walked into the wild card gym on Vine Street in Hollywood and met a trainer named Freddie Roach, who had Parkinson's disease and reputation for fixing broken fighters. Roach watched him spar for 5 minutes, then he turned to his assistant and said, "That is the next world champion." Nobody believed him, everyone would.
By the way, I'm surprised that boxing fans, unless you're caping for a guy, this is pretty straightforward. Pacquiao won lineal titles, indisputable, that's the man who beat the man, or else putting belts together. No one had ever done it before, ever. Do any of us believe that if they were the same size, naturally, Floyd would beat Pacquiao?
Boxing has always been the sport for tribe. The Irish had Sullivan, the Italian had Rocky Marciano, the African American had Ali, Tyson, Leonard. The Mexican had their own pantheon, Chavez, Morales, Barrera and Marquez. But the Philippines had nobody. Not really. They had Flash Elord, a great champion from the 1960s, but he was a footnote in American boxing history. The Philippines was not boxing power. It was a country for 70 million people who loved the sport, but had never produced a global icon. Then Manny Pacquiao started winning, and something strange happened. Every time he fought, the crime rate in Manila dropped to 0, literally. The Philippine National Police recorded this. During Pacquiao fight, there were no robberies, no murders, no fights. The entire country stopped. Taxis pulled over. Hospital drove televisions into emergency rooms. Soldiers in rebel territories laid down their weapons to watch. Pacquiao became a more than fighter. He became proof that Filipino could stand on the same stage as the Americans, the Mexican, the British and win. He became national pride wrapped in boxing gloves. When he fought Erik Morales for the first time in 2005, 70 million Filipino watched, and when he lost, the country mourned like a funeral. People wept in the streets, not because they lost a bet, because they lost proof. That loss changed Pacquiao. It made him understand that he was not fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for a nation believing in itself. The Pacquiao that returned after the Morales loss was not the same fighter. He was angrier, sharper, more willing to hurt people. In the rematch with Morales, Pacquiao knocked him down 3 times in the first round. Morales cornered 3 in the toll after the third knockdown. In the third fight, Morales quiet on his stool after the 6th round. The man who had beaten Pacquiao once now refused to continue.
I literally wanted to die in that ring. In the 8th round, everybody was going to stop it.
Then came Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy, 6th division champion, the face of boxing for a decade. He was 35 years old, but he was still Oscar De La Hoya. The fight was at welterweight, 147 pounds, a weight Pacquiao had never fought at. De La Hoya was supposed to be too big, too strong, too experienced. Pacquiao landed 224 punches, De La Hoya landed 83. After the 8th round, De La Hoya looked at his corner and said, "I don't have it anymore." He cried on his stool. For the first time in his legendary career, Oscar De La Hoya did not answer the bell. The boxing world had never seen anything like that. A flyweight had moved up 7 divisions and broken the future Hall of Famer. But the fight that changed everything, the one that created the blueprint for Pacquiao we remember, happened in 2004 before any of this.
12th round knockout to Rick. Obviously, he believes what Beristain has told him.
Juan Manuel Marquez is supposed to be a stepping stone, a Mexican champion with a solid record, but nothing special. Pacquiao was coming off the barrier knockout, the fight that introduced him to American audiences. Everyone expected another highlight reel. The first round lasted 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Pacquiao knocked Marquez down 3 times. 3 times in one round. Marquez's face was already swelling. His legs were gone. The referee looked at Marquez's corner as if he asking, "Do you want to stop this?" Marquez survived the round, and then something impossible happened. He started fighting back. For the next 11 rounds, Marquez outboxed Pacquiao. He used his jab, he moved laterally, he made Pacquiao miss. When the final bell rang, everyone assumed Marquez had won. The HBO broadcast team said so, the ringside media said so, the judges said it was a draw. One judge scored it 115 to 110 for Pacquiao, a scorecard so absurd that the Boxing Commission never assigned that judges to the major fight again. Marquez had been robbed and knew it. For the next 8 years, that robbery became his motivation. Every time he looked in the mirror, he saw Pacquiao's hand raised. Every time he watched the replay, he saw the knockdowns. And every time he remembered the scorecard, he felt the injustice hardening inside him. The first fight created a monster. Marquez would spend the rest of his career hunting Pacquiao, and Pacquiao, who had won the fight on paper, would spend the rest of his career running from a ghost he could never fully bury.
Concentrating on taking the left hand away from Pacquiao. Bradley's trying to neutralize it, but as many Pacquiao opponents...
The Marquez draw was not the last time Pacquiao benefited from bad judging. It was not even the worst time. Timothy Bradley in 2012, Pacquiao had already beaten Bradley twice in sparring. He had knocked him down in the first round of the actual fight. He had outlanded him 253 to 159. He had won 10 rounds by any objective measure. The judges scored it 115 to 113 for Bradley. The crowd booed for 7 minutes. HBO's announcer Jim Lampley called it one of the worst decisions in the history of championship boxing. Teddy Atlas said the judges should be banned for the life. The Nevada Attorney General's office launched an investigation. the first time the state government had ever investigated a boxing decision. Bradley, to his credit, admitted he lost. "I didn't think I won," he said in the ring. "I thought I lost." But the decision stood. Pacquiao had been robbed, and this time he was the victim, not the beneficiary. The irony was brutal. The fighter who had benefited from the Marquez draw now had his own career damaged by bad judging. The boxing gods have a strange sense of justice. One tribe believed Pacquiao was the victim of the sport that had never fully accepted an Asian fighter as its face. They pointed to Bradley's decision, to the Mayweather drug testing demands, to the constant narrative that Pacquiao was declining even as he kept winning. The other tribe believed Pacquiao had gotten a loss within robbery against Marquez and was now getting what he deserved. They pointed to 115 to 110 scorecard, to the way Pacquiao's style had deteriorated, to the growing sense that he was protected by Freddie Roach's media connections. The divide was not just about boxing, it was about race, class, and nationalism. Filipino fans saw an American sport trying to keep down their hero. Mexican fans saw a foreigner who had stolen from their legend. American fans were caught in the middle, trying to figure out who was the real. This is what great rivalries do. They reveal something ugly about people's watching. They force you to choose a side, and once you choose, you cannot go back. The Marquez rivalry became the psychological warfare. By the time the fourth fight happened in 2012, both men had spent 8 years studying each other. Marquez knew Pacquiao's rhythm. He knew that Pacquiao jumped in with his left hand, that he dropped his right hand when he threw combinations, that he was most dangerous in the first 3 rounds. Pacquiao knew that Marquez was older, slower, and desperate. He knew that Marquez had never knocked him down. He knew that Marquez's only chance was a perfect counterpunch. What Pacquiao did not know was that Marquez had spent 2 years of working with a new strength coach. He had added 12 pounds of muscle. His punch had become heavier at 41 than it was at 31. He was not just training to win, he was training to kill. The fight was a war from the opening bell. Pacquiao knocked Marquez down in the 3rd round. Marquez got up. Marquez knocked Pacquiao down in the 5th round. Pacquiao got up. Both men were bleeding. Both men were exhausted. Both men knew that this fight would end with someone unconscious. In the 6th round, Pacquiao lunged forward with his left hand. Marquez stepped back, planted his feet, and threw a right hand that landed perfectly on Pacquiao's jaw. Pacquiao's body went limp before he hit the canvas. His face bounced off the mat. He didn't move for 2 minutes. The referee waved off the fight. Marquez ran to his corner and climbed the ropes and screaming. For 8 years, he had watched Pacquiao get the glory. Now he had the knockout, the definitive ending, the punch that would play on the highlight reels for 100 years. Pacquiao lay on the canvas, unconscious, and the boxing world wondered if he would ever fight again. He came back. Of course he came back. 30 months later, Pacquiao fought Brandon Rios in Macau. He won a unanimous decision. He looked slower, older, more cautious. The reckless warrior who climbed 8 divisions was gone. In his place was a smart veteran who picked his shots. He fought again and again and again. He beat Timothy Bradley in rematch. He beat Jesse Vargas. He beat Lucas Matias. He beat Adrian Bronner. At 40 years old, he knocked out Katie Truman, a champion 12 years younger than him, to become the oldest welterweight champion in boxing history.